Jay, you've had some experience with jiu-jitsu, right? And you yourself said the curriculum for jiu-jitsu is insane. It's crazy. So from every position, there are several moves, there are several counters to those moves, and there are several counters to those counters.
So it's
So
like the analogy I use is like a tree branching out. Right, you've got the tree, you've got the core, and then you've got a branch that, and then out of that branch sprouts another branch, and out of that branch sprouts 6 more branches, and so on and so forth.
yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely.
that's what the curriculum of BJJ can be likened to, especially for a beginner who's kind of coming into it wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and been like, holy shit, what the fuck, how am I ever going to understand all of these things?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So there's two sort of principles when it comes to jiu-jitsu. There's um, one, being able to generalize, being able to be comfortable in various positions, all the positions, understanding where to go from them, where to look for submissions, where to look for counters and things like that in general. It's not required to be an expert at each of these things. But if you look at high level competitors, they've all got a certain thing that they do, a certain pattern of movements that they do. They've got a certain pass, they've got a certain method of control, they've got a certain sequence of submissions that they will go for, and they will train this religiously because this is their game plan, and they'll apply their game plan. And it's sort of a well-known thing. So if you know a certain fighter, you'll sort of know what their game plan is. A lot of them will have sweeps named after them, a lot of them will have submissions named after them, because this is the path to victory that they've selected.
Like the Kimura.
Like the Kimura, like the De La Hiva, like there's a whole bunch of moves in jiu-jitsu that are either named after people or named by people that invented those positions, or not invented but discovered, because these positions can't be invented. They just, yeah, it's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. So as amateurs, as people who are looking to improve, the variety of different techniques, different movements from different positions can be overwhelming, and the process of trying to perfect each of these, it's gonna leave you an average. It's gonna result in you being an average grappler, because you're pretty good at some things, but not really good at anything specific. I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, even and we've quoted this before, but what's his name? Bruce Lee said, I fear not the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks, one kick 10,000 times." Same thing when it comes to the route that you take to victory in jiu-jitsu. You need to get good at a pass, or at least one or two passes, so that if the one gets shut down, you've got another option to go to. You need to be able to control in a certain position. You need to understand different control positions. Do you prefer getting to the back very quickly and controlling from there? Do you prefer getting to mount and controlling from there, or side control, controlling from there, north, south? So these are all very different positions, and all have very different submissions from those different positions. So being able to understand what my highest percentage moves are from various positions is the most important thing when it comes to improving quickly in jiu-jitsu, because you can work on just that movement, just that pattern, just that flow, to get to and this is also good because you are dictating what you're looking to do in a fight. You're not just taking what comes to you, which a lot of people get into the habit of. I get into the habit of that as well. I sort of take submissions when they come. I defend until someone shows me a vulnerability, and then I take that from them.
As opposed to constructing your own path to victory, basically.
Exactly. So I have
It's a very
sort of
reactive process rather than proactive.
exactly, and there's arguments for the fact that that's a good thing. It's the equivalent of a counterpuncher in boxing. So, but it's not good to only be good at that. You want to be able to set a path and be able to tell the person, "I'm going to choke you out from behind. There's nothing you can do about that," and you want to be able to pull that off. And flowcharts essentially allow you to do that. It allows you to map out what you're looking to do. Start here. If I screw up this technique, I've got this one to fall back on, and you know this because you've planned it out on paper. And if I get to, for example, if I get the pass right and I'm in side control, what do I do from here? I've got two options according to my mind map, according to my flowchart that I've worked out. If this one doesn't work, then this one should work. And you just jump between these two sort of submissions, or these passes, or these techniques or movements. So flowcharts have been very, very useful. It is, like you said, a very novel idea when it comes to fighting, and it's perfect for something like jiu-jitsu. But if you want to know more about it, I've actually included it in a blog post of mine called it's Learning Jiu-Jitsu by Yourself. So learning BJJ by yourself. So if you just go on to strictlyfighters.com, that article will be there. It's near the bottom somewhere where we talk about mind maps. And we also link to a pretty cool company that actually sells mind maps. So one's based on famous fighters, one's based on famous instructionals that you're able to buy. But this is actually the techniques put down on paper for you to understand exactly where you're going to from these various positions. So yeah, go have a read. It's on the blog.
So it actually gives you like for those people who enjoy a bit of studying, it's a theoretical knowledge before you get into the practice of it. It's quite a cool process, that.
Nice. Exactly. And this company, BJJ Flowcharts that we use, they don't only give you the flow charts on paper to work with, they actually give you the videos of the transitions and the movements. So it's an entire instructional along with the mind map or the flow charts. I say mind map because it's very South African, but yeah, along with the flow chart you get videos as well. Really, really cool.